prayer. For centuries, people from all walks of life have turned to prayer as a means to connect with the divine, to seek guidance, or simply to find comfort in times of distress. But with so many traditions, rituals, and personal habits, it is easy to wonder, is there a right or wrong way to pray? In the teachings of Jesus, we find a powerful lesson on how to approach prayer, and more importantly, how not to make a common but critical mistake. Imagine people gathered in public places, standing at the crossroads or in the centers of religious halls, praying loudly, their voices rising above the noise of the marketplace. They gesture emphatically, choosing their words with care, hoping those around will notice. For many, this image was familiar in first-century Judea. Public displays of piety served not only religious purpose, but social standing. Yet, in the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus offers an unexpected instruction that cuts through the outward show and reaches into the heart of true spirituality. He warns, "And when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen." Here, Jesus points out a mistake so many make: using prayer as a means to impress others rather than to genuinely communicate with God. At its core, prayer is meant to be an intimate, personal conversation between the individual and their Creator. The mistake, then, is not in the words themselves, but in the intent behind them. The true error is transforming prayer into a performance, motivated by the desire for approval, admiration, or recognition, rather than humble devotion. To underscore his point, Jesus provides a direct example. He does not leave his followers guessing about what prayer should sound like. Instead, he introduces the prayer now known universally as the Lord's Prayer. It begins, "Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one." What is striking about this prayer is its simplicity, humility, and focus. There are no elaborate phrases, no grandstanding, no complex theological arguments designed to impress. Instead, every line moves from an acknowledgement of God's holiness and sovereign will to a daily dependence upon Him, to the mutual forgiveness that forms the bedrock of healthy relationships, and finally to seeking protection from the trials that threaten to pull us away from all that is good. In this short but profound lesson, Jesus emphasizes that prayer is not for show. It's not about complex language or public displays. The heart of prayer is sincerity. When you approach God, come honestly, vulnerably, with humility. Bring your real fears, your real hopes, your genuine gratitude. Jesus also cautions against vain repetitions, the mistake of thinking that God can be persuaded by many words or endless repetition. "And when you pray," he says, "do not keep on babbling like pagans, for they think they will be heard because of their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask Him." This reveals that God is not distant or unaware, requiring grand gestures or lengthy speeches to gain His attention. Instead, He is close, attentive, and already knows the depths of our hearts before we utter a single word. So how then should you pray? First, with authenticity. Be honest about your struggles, your joys, your shortcomings. God responds to truth spoken from the heart. Second, with humility. Remember that prayer is not a tool to bend God to your wishes, but a moment to align your heart with His greater purpose and wisdom. Third, with persistence, but not in empty repetition. Continual prayer reflects faith that God listens and cares, not that He needs badgering or coaxing. It is also worth noting the communal dimension of the Lord's Prayer. Jesus teaches His followers to say, "Our Father," not just "my Father." This signifies that prayer binds us, one to another, as members of a shared spiritual family. When we pray not only for ourselves, but for the world around us, for peace, justice, daily provision, and mutual forgiveness. To many, the temptation to pray in dramatic, elaborate ways remains strong even today. After all, social media and public gatherings still present opportunities to be seen as spiritual or wise. But Jesus' instruction remains clear. Prayer is most powerful, most transformative, when practiced privately and sincerely. The measure of prayer is not how it looks or sounds to others, but how it orients your heart toward God. Imagine a quiet room, the door closed, distractions set aside. In that space, there is no audience. It is just you and God. No need for pretense or performance. You are invited to speak honestly and listen deeply. Here, prayer becomes what it was meant to be, not a show, but a soul-to-soul conversation. Perhaps you are new to prayer, unsure of where to start. Let the Lord's Prayer be your guide, a model, not a script. Begin by acknowledging who God is to you, honoring His name. Invite His will to shape your life. Bring your daily needs, however small or great. Seek forgiveness for your shortcomings and resolve to forgive those who have hurt you. Ask for strength in the face of temptation and protection from harm. Above all, remember Jesus' most crucial teaching about prayer. Don't fall into the trap of making it about others' approval or your own sense of importance. Don't perform. Instead, be present with God. Those who understand this lesson discover that prayer is not a burden, nor is it a stage for boasting. It is a gift, a direct line to the one who knows, loves, and cares for you. In embracing prayer as a private, sincere act, you find peace, guidance, and the transforming power of divine connection. So the next time you approach prayer, ask yourself, am I seeking to be heard, or am I seeking to truly connect? Remember Jesus' lesson. Close the door. Silence the world outside. Speak simply, honestly, and from the heart. For in that quiet space, you will find the reward greater than any applause, the deep and abiding presence of God.